gentlemen, the widely regarded as the #1 podcast in the Halo jumping community,
Oh God.
the Bald Podcast makes its return. This is the 7th one we've done. We've made it a lot farther than I thought we would, I'm not gonna lie. But we're back. For one, this is no season 2. This is just kind of like a one-time thing because I'm
This is
home
a
for
bonus.
spring break.
This is a spring break bonus episode.
Basically, I just told Hunter, I was like, my channel needs content because it's dry.
What do you mean? You put up that 11-second pointless video earlier today?
It's a hype up, man. It's a hype up. Think about how hyped all the kids are getting in the community.
Yeah, I mean, well, it certainly got you an extra. Hold on. 16 views added to your channel view count.
Oh, great. That's good to hear. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to do something goofy for like 50 more days because I was like, oh, that's coming up, you know?
Actually, I will say one thing. It does feel crazy to think that when you planned this date in your head, like Christmas or whenever it was, when we talked about this on the Bold podcast,
Whenever
back
we were
then,
doing it then.
yeah, back then, it's crazy to think that it's only 50 days away. So I will say that.
Yeah, no, like, my course has been dead, but, like, you know, it's coming back to life, dude.
Hmm.
And honestly, I'm really excited, because, the people who have, like, seen my map and stuff and the editing I've been doing have been kinda, like, hyping it up a little bit to me. So,
Yeah.
it makes me feel really good about how that's gonna go. I'm just excited to get back to hosting, though, more importantly, because that's what's fun to me.
So for context, viewers, this is the Bold Podcast 7. Just me and Chumpy. We don't think we're going to get anyone else in.
If we do, it's not planned.
No, this is just a little one-off that we're doing before
Catch up on our lives, I guess.
Presumably, the next one will probably be the Halo Saturday 16 preview podcast.
Oh yeah, I gotta bring back, because I used to do, I called them pre-casts before my tournaments, to like have somebody in there and like do predictions and stuff. So I gotta get you for that. That'd be fun.
I was gonna say we could do a proper hype up pre-tournament, because lots of tournaments now, especially the big three, we run our predictions before the tournament starts.
Yeah.
And none of them ever get aired or anything like that. And actually, I mean, you could even say like some of the podcasts I do on my channel is for the real life Sasuke stuff. Again, we don't normally review the results of who won it. Maybe that's another podcast we could do actually.
Right.
For also secondary context for the viewers, I have an appalling cough and cold. So if I suddenly start coughing in the middle of a sentence, I do apologise. I'm going to try and limit the coughs to whenever Chumpy's talking, so I can mute myself.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's basically what I was whenever we did the last 3 episodes, because I had COVID. When we
yeah.
were doing that.
I haven't tested, but I'm pretty sure mine's not COVID. We've had snow this week, and it's been very cold. And I think I've just picked up. I stupidly went and played football in the snow on Wednesday night.
Oh my god.
And I don't think it was the smartest decision I ever made.
God. That's so dumb.
I scored 6 goals.
Yeah.
I do good in the snow, but
Hell yeah. No, yeah, have I ever told you about my time playing soccer?
no, go on.
It's called gym class, so it doesn't really count.
So it's indoor.
I scored 3 once, you know,
Yeah.
in gym class, because I was a stud back then. You know, I got all the ladies with my, you know, Ronaldo kicks.
Oh God. How many footballers do you think you could? How many footballers? How many soccer players do you think you could name? Right off the bat now.
Messi, Ronaldo. Oh God. What's the guy who
What's the Everton player you always made
Snaz always
jokes
talks
about?
about? Wayne Rooney.
Yes.
He's a soccer player. Um, what's the one guy Snaz is always hyped about?
Brazilian, old player. He passed away at the end of last year. He begins with a P.
Um, a P.
Starts with the letter P,
Okay.
his name.
Pele.
Pele. Yeah, that's four. Let's see if we can get one more. Come on, let's get five. Let's get
Um,
one more.
um, uh, what's the one guy? Uh, shit. Oh.
I'm trying to think of one that you might know. I'm trying to think of an American that you might know.
Oh, there's the one Christian Pulisic.
Yeah,
for Team
yeah, we got
USA.
five. We got five.
Yeah, he took a shot to the balls for USA.
Oh yeah, when he scored a goal. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's a legend for that. That man represents us. We go balls in. Whatever playing
Oh
sports.
God. So we don't have any
Uh,
specific topics of conversation, so we're kind of just probably going to jump back and forth into different conversations. One thing
Yeah.
that we could talk about because it's current and it's only just happened. Rocks tournament premiered
Oh
a
yeah, I
week
did
last
really
Friday.
bad. You know
Well,
what's really funny? Do you ever
yeah.
get like tagged in videos from like the other jumpers that make like little shorts?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Not it doesn't happen very often, but yeah.
I got tagged in one literally today by this one kid, and it was like Atlantic Champ whenever he's on stage 1 of Spartan Sasuke 23, and it's just me dying. Like
Who
my
sent
Spartan.
that? I was gonna say I feel like I need to see
Somebody
that.
made that short, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was really funny. Because it's like the first time I've ever like failed that stage 1 since 15 when everybody failed.
I was gonna say,
So
so if
it's
you don't
like-
count 15, like that's the first time you failed stage one since like 12.
12.
If
Well, I didn't even
15
compete in 12.
Oh, you didn't
11.
compete in 12. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I had a pretty good record going.
So,
when I
so this
competed.
is the first legit stage one fail since the Chump Rog Gate.
Yeah, pretty
How
much.
many years
I didn't
ago
even
was
try
that?
in that tournament. I didn't even try. I literally showed up and did my run, and I still managed to beat like half the course. Like I don't understand
It's crazy
how I
when
had
you
that
think.
streak for that long, but it's come to an end. That kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't pay attention to the rest of the tournament.
Oof, yikes. Okay, well this is gonna make this a very short
So-
conversation because I was hoping you'd have watched it, but
You can spoil away. I'm not
so
gonna get hurt. By
yeah,
it.
it premiered a week last Friday, so like the 3rd of March, I think.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, this is one of the few premieres where I wasn't here for the whole thing. I was here for the first hour. Then we went and started racing. And
Oh,
I'll tell you
God,
what,
it
the
was
timing,
race night.
yeah, Fridays are always race night. It was weird that
Ah.
there was a premiere on Friday because they don't normally happen on Fridays. But the timings were so perfect because the last run I saw just before we disappeared to go racing was Sol's run, and because I
Yeah.
knew how Sol did, it was a great little watch for me and Sol.
Right.
Yeah, that was one of the big highlights of the tournament. Sol clearing, he's come out really strong on Infinite so far.
Yeah. How did he do on like Irish's course?
He cleared that as well. He cleared stage one on that one.
Oh hell yeah! Good for
That
him.
one at least he had beaten stage one once
You know
before.
what? I even watched Irish's tournament. I just forgot the results. I know
There was a lot of
I got to,
success.
like,
We could talk
stage
about that
2.
one as well.
Yeah,
But,
that was a good tournament. Both were pretty good tournaments, I thought, as far as results. Like I skimmed through Rogs quick. I don't remember them off the top. But I
Yeah,
remember
so
being
it
like,
was
"Huh."
it was 100 runs, obviously.
Didn't Fireball get first place?
Yeah, Fireball got first place. It was, I believe, for 14 clears, I think it was.
Christ, and I failed. Damn.
I think I want to say you got the closest out of everyone that failed. So I
I'm
don't think
sure.
anyone got close. I don't think anyone got closer than you. There was like 5
I'm
people that
still
failed that
salty
last
about
obstacle.
that run. I'm still salty. because I was one away, and I had just gotten Infinite, like my first time playing it really, and like other than in like arena and stuff, so first time like jumping in it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a complete grasp of physics, so when I hit the wall and went flying, I was like, "Wait, you can do that?"
I was
And
really hoping
that's how I
someone.
failed.
Oh, he's not put up
Because
the
I
results
literally
in his
put like
wiki.
I don't like making excuses for myself, but like I literally put 5 minutes of practice and ran. I hate making that excuse. Like I literally
yeah.
even said in my interview, I was like, if I fail, I fail, but these things are happening, so expect it. And
Is that
yeah,
what
no,
that
I'm
kind of
not
made it
surprised.
worse? Because you were sort of expecting a fail, but then when you got that close, you thought, "Oh shit, I'm gonna clear," and then
And then I failed.
you fail, and that makes it even worse.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm like still a little salty, but not really. You know,
No,
I
it's one
love
of
running.
those.
His course was
I'm pretty
great.
sure still a top 15 run with like no practice. That's pretty solid. I guess
I
it's just a shame because of the run or the streak that you were on.
Yeah, no, it really is kind of tough, but yeah, we live. Jumping ain't what it really isn't what matters. Like it's not like I'm gonna dread that for like.
Nah.
Uh,
I don't know when
like,
his
it's not
next
that big of
tournament
a
is,
deal.
but hopefully it falls quite nicely for you to like actually put some practice in.
I hope so. I hope it's during the summer because that's when I'll actually be here and have proper access to an Xbox. Even though I could in college, but it's my roommate, so I don't like to, fuck with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we live.
100 runs, 14 clears. And to be honest, the 14 clears was massively helped by the fact that the last 8 runners all cleared stage 1, so it was 8 in a row. And the last
Oh,
8,
really?
so 8 clears in a row. So it was 6. There were 6 clears after the first 92 runs, which, to be honest, I wasn't surprised. The tournament was looking really really tough.
Mhm.
But it was one of those tournaments, and I can't really think of another good example of a tournament that's like this on any of like the 100 competitor tournaments. It was one of those tournaments where there weren't a lot of clears in the first 90 runs, but so
Mhm.
many people were getting deep into stage 1. Like obviously you had your last obstacle fail. I think about
Mhm.
5 people failed the last obstacle, but then a ton of others failed like the pit stop or failed that mongoose thing.
I know the pit stop. No, the mongoose was what people were really stressing about,
Mm.
which I was confused on because I kind of had it down pretty
The
easily.
mongoose was the obstacle felt like I was the one. It was the one. It was the thing I thought I was most likely to fail. I could have failed other things, but
I thought I was going to either fail the spider or clear, which stressed me out because that's so easy to make jokes on. Me failing the spider
yeah.
again, again.
Yeah, but how many
But
times have you failed the spider on Rog's course? Not that many.
I have
Sure.
never failed it.
Oh,
Actually,
so when the day finally does come, it's going to be horrible.
it'd be really bad. Yeah, well, I'm not looking forward to that because now that we're talking about it, it's going to happen, but we'll see. Oh
Trying to
god, I
figure out.
forgot I forgot the ball, like the big sphere obstacle on Smokey's course got like fucked.
Oh, that
New
was so
update.
funny. So fun fact, I was trying to figure this out just before we came into the podcast because I just played a game of Fall Guys before we started and I won, and I didn't look
Right.
how many crowns I was on, and I've just found out I'm up to 80 crowns.
Well,
Probably, which
you've
is
won
probably
80 times.
well, no, it's from like winning all these challenges and stuff. A lot of these crowns are off of
Oh.
winning challenges and stuff. I would say probably like 15 or 20 of them are from actually
Yeah.
winning.
Right.
And this probably isn't like this is like probably a fifth of like Puma's probably got like 400 crowns, and I'm bragging about having 80.
Yeah, dude. Puma exploded. We can talk about that.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that in a minute. But just to carry on with the ROG thing. So, yeah, lot of deep runs into stage 1, like getting to the last 3
Yeah.
obstacles, but like so many different people as well. Like, so that I don't think I'm going to get all the names, but I think of the 5 people that failed the last obstacle, you were one of them. But then
Drago did. I
Drago,
heard.
Drago, who is like, it was crazy. Like some of the things Rog was saying in his commentary, it was like it was accurate, but to hear someone say it on commentary, like if I said it in an episode, I'd be thinking like, Jesus, is that true? When Drago was running, that's the closest Drago has gotten to clearing a stage 1 on any course in almost 9 years. 8.5 years, and when he said 9 years, and I did the math in my head, it's probably about 8.5. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh my god, has it really been 8.5 years?
Christ, dude, that's crazy.
And then there was a bunch of different newcomers that got, like, one of them was that Eternal Flame guy, which I've heard he's been doing really good. He's been looking really good on some tournaments. He got to the last obstacle. Sane got to the last obstacle. He was like, he was so close. He was so close to
It's
getting
okay
clear
though, because
number 3.
didn't he do good in Irishes? Same.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to
I
think
heard
about this.
that. I heard he cleared.
I'm gonna have to think about Irishes. But yeah, that's the kind of gist of the idea. I think it was still a successful stage 1. It was one of those where it was like on the brink of it being like a record. Not like a well, actually, it could have been a record-breaking stage 1, actually, because it's like, I think his record's like 17 clears or something, and we had 14.
No, it's like 19.
Oh, is it 19?
I think it's up there.
Yeah, but like
'Cause
so many,
19 had
so
a
many,
lot
so,
of clears.
so many random people were doing really well and just couldn't finish the job off.
Yeah.
Fireball also cleared with over 35 seconds. I'll give that a quick shout out.
Christ, dude.
That was mad. And then stage 2, it was tough. I knew it was going to be tough. It actually ended up being a little bit better than I thought. From what I was hearing before the premiere came out, it sounded like there were like 3 people on stage 3 out of 14. It wasn't that bad. There were 5 clears out of 14. That ring obstacle, the 4th obstacle, did a lot of damage. It did a lot of damage. I think 2 people failed the salmon ladder. Unfortunately, I was one of them. I had a bit of a choke job on it.
God.
2 people failed the double compressor thing, the 3rd obstacle.
Yeah.
And then I think 4 people failed the rings. And Sunny failed the last obstacle on stage 2.
Jeez.
One of the 4
Dude,
people to
Sonny,
fail.
man.
One of the 4 people to fail the rings was also Smokey. Only the second time he's ever failed stage 2 on Rog's course, and that actually cost him his streak because I think he was on like 6 in a row or something on stage 2.
Yeah, he was on a similar streak that I was on.
Yeah.
On stage 2 before I failed in 2 tournaments ago.
Yeah. Well, last tournament, wasn't it? Oh, well, yeah, you got there last tournament. Like, you could have... in 22, yeah. Sorry, I suppose 2 tournaments ago. He is still on for the streak. If he clears in the next tournament, that'll be 9 stage 1 clears in a row, which will tie Swan's record, which is just crazy
Which
to
is
think
what I
someone's...
was going to break in this tournament.
Well, I think you and Smokey were level. I think you were.
Right.
You would have got 8. You would have been on if you'd cleared in this one.
I'm saying I would have done this. I would have been the same.
You would have been You would have been on pace for it as well. Yeah. And then the 5 that got to stage 3, I think it was Petrillo, Flame, Joey, Ump, and Fireball. None of them got past the cliffhanger. Fireball got the furthest. Joey got second.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. I know Ump did the worst. And then Petrillo and Flame in some sort of order.
Right.
But yeah, I want to give a shout out to the surprise successes. Soul clearing stage 1 for the first time on Rog's course, and he has like I think he's got 2 stage 1 clears already now on Infinite, and I don't know how many he got on Halo 5. I think he only got like 4 or 5 on Halo 5 ever. So like Infinite's going great right now for Soul.
Yeah.
Paddy, as expected, he's put the work in. He's been really going for it in Infinite. Cleared stage 1 on Rogs. so not surprised that he cleared. First time he cleared a ROG tournament in 16 tournaments, which is mad. And then two people, Shadow and Glowcombs, had never cleared stage 1 before. So, you know,
Oh yeah, I heard
a bit
Shadow
of the,
run cleared.
a bit of the new blood. I knew Shadow cleared.
Good
I was
for
there
him.
for his stage 2 run, but I didn't know about Glowcombs. That's pretty cool. And his
I know Shadow was really working on it.
yeah, ROG, a very nice touch. ROG put Glowcombs' reaction when he finished stage 1 in the video, so you could hear him like celebrating, and that's the sort of thing that is that's the sort of thing that's the reason why we do this. You know, getting reactions like that, people getting their first stage 1 clear. It certainly puts a smile on my face.
I remember mine.
I can't remember my first. It was so long ago.
Way in the day. Dude, honestly, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm starting to get you guys. Like, you and...
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to understand now how it feels to be, like, an older person in the community.
I think exactly. I think having Shadow and Glowcombs as well, it was also good because they're part of this new group that's obviously started. I know obviously they came in at like the very end of Halo 5, but they are still I suppose technically part of like the new Infinite crowd.
Yeah, anybody who's been here for like a year-ish, maybe more, bit less, they're a part of the new crowd, definitely.
Yeah. So it's good to have.
How long have I been jumping for? When did I do your course? 2015.
So this will be in the summer. This will be 8 years.
God fucking damn it! I need to go outside. I need to go touch grass.
Well, I think you've been touching grass, haven't you? That's why these these podcasts have been so infrequent.
That's such a good point. I didn't think about that, dude. Honestly, like. Hearing that is crazy to me. Because, like, right whenever I started, you guys were about the same amount of time in and jumping.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think when you started, you started in 2015, so Halo jumping, just as a thing, was coming up to eight years of existing.
Christ.
When you get to this summer, you will now have had 8 years. You will, when you get to this 8-year anniversary, you will have been a part of Halo jumping for more than half of its entire existence.
I'm just kidding. I'm a fucking boomer, aren't I? I'm a boomer now. Which is crazy to say, because I feel like I've spent like over 2/3 of that time being just a kid in the community. You know?
Yeah, I get what you
said.
Yeah,
I guess it's a bit of a jump. You know, once
I'm trying
you
to
finally
find,
get out of that.
I'm trying to find Irish's. I'm trying to remember. The thing of Irish's tournament, since you mentioned it, I felt like this one. Like Rogs felt like it was, it felt like a new era, but there was a lot of the same faces with a mixture of a few new ones. The feeling I got with Irish's tournament, watching the premiere, was how fucking retro it felt, because we had Go Tanks, Killer, Sane, all on stage 2 together. Chumpy, yeah, old Chumpy. Soul, who hadn't cleared stage 1 in forever on Irish's course. It literally felt like we would. I think I might have put a comment in the live chat. Is like, what year was the last time all these people got to stage 2 together, or something like that?
Yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah, like Sane, Killer, Go Tanks, Chumpy, me obviously, Soul, Paddy, like. And then obviously the mixture of the new people, of the people that are always getting there, like Smokey, Joey, Fireball, Cobra, Flame, Sonic. No, so Sonic didn't compete in Irish's tournament. But yeah, I don't even know. I think he had like 17 clears as well on Irish's tournament, which was crazy.
Really?
I think it was 17 on the tournament that just came out.
Which is shocking for an Irish tournament, you know?
It was a pretty easy stage 1. I think we could
agree.
agree.
See that coming.
Yeah. I think we could agree, compared to where the course was at the end of Halo 5, that first Infinite course was pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to the point that like it could have been even better. Like Puma got to the last obstacle and choked. Snaz, oh god, Snaz, he got so close. He was so
Mm-hmm.
close to beating stage 1 on Irish's. Cyrus could have cleared and didn't. In fact, actually, yeah, I just realised, I don't think on this list I just said, I think Sonny did like really bad as well on Irish's course. So I mean, if he had turned up, yeah, all those people
I
I
do
just
think
said, we
it's
could have been looking at like 20 clears. We could have been looking at like 20 clears on Irish's tournament.
I do think though it's a level of practice with it too, because a lot of people cleared ROGs because they were putting in a lot of work for ROGs because it's a new game. We've
Yeah.
done this before. I can officially say now that we've done this before. Actually, technically, me twice.
Mm.
Because 4 to 5. I mean, MCC to 5. What's
Yeah.
the fucking difference? Let's be real.
Yeah.
And I feel like we know as much as the next person how much work you gotta put in to, get good at a new game.
Mm.
Because it's small things that change, right?
Yeah.
That
And
you're not
personally,
used to.
I personally don't think I'm there yet. And yet, of the, well, 3 tournaments that have aired, 4 if you include Flames, which obviously hasn't aired yet, but of the 3 that have aired so far, I've got 2 stage 1 clears. And I still feel like I'm nowhere near used to the game yet. So,
Dude, honestly, me neither. And I've probably. You could guess how much time I've spent on this video game.
yeah.
It's not much.
No, you've probably
And
like
I'm
for
also,
the viewers
I've also
watching
got it clear.
for the viewers watching right now, watching what Chumpy's doing, like the time he puts in on these infinite jumping maps during the podcast, it's probably the most time he's put in
Oh,
to.
I guarantee you, by the time this podcast ends, this is about 90% of the practice I will be doing for Smokey's course.
That's one podcast he did the last podcast they did, and it went on for like 2.5 hours or something like that. That was all in Smokey's map, just getting a feel for the map.
I just do it to have like a background, and I just jump so that there's something going on, something to look at. And
Since you
I don't
mentioned
even
Smokey's,
do it because I'm like terribly.
are you
about
in his map right now? Actually,
I am.
is
I
his
am.
sphere still broken? Like if
It
you
is
went to
still
stage 2?
broken.
So if you go to it now, is it just like a flat platform, or is there like nothing there?
Flat platform.
You know what? I made a really funny joke that Smokey loved. You know what it look? Can you picture
Deflate
like
the ball?
no?
Deflate the ball?
Can you picture in your head what the sphere looked like the last time you were on it? Like it was a big
yeah, sure.
round. Do you know what I said it looks like? And I genuinely think this is true. You know, in the Incredibles movie, you know that giant ball that like the robot thing moves around it? I think it looks just like the sphere obstacle. And Smokey couldn't stop laughing because he thought actually it did look like that.
Dude, that's so funny. That's so true. I can tell you last time I watched that movie though.
Oh dear, that movie. That's part of my childhood. I watched the Ice Age.
Yeah.
I watched the original Ice Age movie recently.
Oh my god, the squirrel.
Yeah, Squat, whatever his name is.
Something like that.
Yeah. The only reason I was watching it is because we had my little baby niece Phoebe over, and we needed something to watch while she was sort of half asleep, half waking up crying.
Yeah.
It's still a good movie, I think. I think it still holds up for a kids' movie.
Hell yeah, dude. I think my brother cried to Ice Age.
It is a bit. It's a bit sad. I think it is a bit of a sad movie, to be honest.
Yeah. It's okay, because I still cry to Finding Nemo.
Scrat is the name of the squirrel.
Scrat, that's right.
I mean, the baby, the baby's mom dies. That's really sad. When they how many times they have lots of close moments with the baby as well. Like when the I forgot what Manny. That's what almost forgot what the
Mm-hmm.
mammoth's name is. Then for a second, when Manny like is thinking about his like family and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
And
sad.
then at the
That
end
movie is sad.
and then at the end when they say goodbye to the baby, that's really sad. And then what's his face, the tiger, comes, drags himself up the hill. I'm not out yet. I'm not beat yet. I don't know why I did that in a chumpy voice, but or tried to do it in a chumpy voice.
Yeah.
I'm not beat yet.
Oh my god.
I
Yeah,
always used to think it was the coolest thing that Jack Black voiced a character in that movie as well. Back when Jack Black was
dude,
like the shit.
dude, Jack Black is still the shit. Let's be real.
He's still the shit. Well, he had a period. He had a period in like the. He had like a 10-year period where he wasn't really the shit.
I love School of Rock.
Yeah, that was peak Jack Black. But I feel like the 2010s was sort of like a down year for Jack Black. He didn't really do a lot in those 10 years, and now he's making a comeback.
Oh yeah, kids that grew up with him are getting old.
Isn't he like? Isn't there some big movie he's in now? I'm trying to think. Jack Black. Isn't there
Oh
some
god,
big
he's in
really?
the Mario movie.
That's it, Mario. I was thinking like there's a big movie coming out that he's in.
Yeah, isn't he playing Bowser?
I think he voices Bowser, doesn't he? Yeah.
Something like that, I think.
But yeah, I
Perhaps.
think like the whole 2000s was peak Jack Black, and then the 2010s he had a bit of a down period where he didn't do a lot. I think the biggest thing he did in the
He did Kung Fu Panda.
yeah, he did do Kung Fu Panda. I was going to say, well, that started in the 2000s, didn't it? And then it carried on.
Did it?
I feel like
I
Kung Fu
don't
Panda
really
was like
remember.
mid 2000, like
I feel
2006.
like Kung Fu Panda and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs were at about the same time.
Oh, no, the first Kung Fu
If
Panda
I have
was
my timeline
2008.
right, I could have my timeline very off.
First Kung Fu Panda was in 2008. There's a Kung Fu Panda 4 coming out next year, apparently,
Really?
according to
Well,
Wikipedia.
God, dude, I even want to. I feel like once you make a fourth movie, you're just making money.
Well, that was the Shrek effect, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
the third movie of Shrek wasn't great, and it should have stopped there. And then the fourth movie, oh god. Oh,
I watched Shrek 1 and 2.
great
'Cause
movies.
I was on break. Like
Yeah.
my break started a week ago, and I spent it in Pittsburgh with my friends.
Mm.
And we watched Shrek 1 and 2 back to back.
Which one's better, the first or the second, in your opinion?
Oh god. I think that the first one hits the most nostalgia.
Yeah, I
So-
think the first one is probably funnier and more nostalgic, but I think the second one probably has a more interesting.
What are you doing in my swamp?
My swamp. I think the second one probably has a better story, and also I love the end of the movie when like they're breaking into the castle and the giant
The giant,
the giant
Gingy.
gingerbread man. That to me is the best.
Gingy.
That to me is the best scene in all
Do
of Shrek.
you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Oh god. I love that movie though. It's so great. I love Shrek. No, the movie that still like makes me cry to this day is Finding Nemo though.
Which bit?
The end whenever Nemo finds Marlin.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like the beginning
Whatever.
when Mummy dies, when Mummy gets eaten.
No. The whole like part of that movie where it's just character development, which makes you really really happy whenever they finally meet each other again. It's like oh, gets me.
Yeah.
Gets me every time.
I'm not even sure when was the last time I watched Fine. You know that movie's fucking scary for kids. You think it's a kids movie? It's
Oh,
fucking
dude,
scary if you think about
dude,
it.
The bit where it's the anglerfish. Oh,
In the,
dude,
is that in
freaked me
the
out when
pitch
I was
black?
little.
In the pitch black dark,
Yeah.
you mean? Yeah, that bit's just. But if you think even
That's a
before that,
horror
you've got
movie, man.
the horrid giant shark trying to eat you.
Oh my god. Fish
the beginning
are
of the
friends, not
Not
food.
You got the beginning of the movie starts with the mass murder of an entire family, which kids just wouldn't understand. It's like, where did the mum go? Where did all the eggs go? Well, kids,
Oh no.
Yeah, the bit, yeah, the pitch black bit is just absolutely like horrible.
No,
It's
but that
horrible.
that that movie makes me so like it makes me cry. Because it's
Yeah.
like they've been through so much, and the single father had to raise them, and it's sad. I legitimately.
The funniest thing for me is still the birds, the what they called, um,
The seagulls.
the seagulls. Will you just shut up,
My, my,
mine?
my, my.
Yeah, the one that like, is it like a shrimp or something? Like it goes like all kung fu or something, and then jumps into the water, and then one of them just goes mine. It just makes
Mine,
me laugh
mine.
every time.
Oh my god. Yeah, I love movies.
I'm struggling to think of a kids movie that still to this day. This one, I guess, hits. This one still hits hard because it's the only one I can think off the top of my head. Even though I would have been 15 at the time when it came out. It's the end of Toy Story 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though I was 15 at the time.
Is Toy
Um,
Story 3 the one with the bears, and it's the one where it's pretty much just like.
it's in like a kid's like kindergarten home place, whatever it is. Yeah, it's the giant bears like in charge of everything. Um,
Which
and
one's
the
the like one where it's just like there's so many crimes committed to those fucking toys. Like so many toys get killed.
I don't know if that's the fourth one. I've not watched the fourth one, so I don't know if that's the fourth one.
I forget. The Toy Story franchise to me is very forgettable.
Hmm. I think
I've never really liked it.
I think it's more well remembered in this country than in the US. I think even though it's set in the US, I think.
Possibly. You
Yeah, that one always
guys
hits home for me
can-
because you think because the end of the movie, the end of the movie gets you crying twice because at one point within like the last like 20 or 30 minutes, you think all the toys are going to burn to death in a giant furnace, and you think, oh god, they're not going to get out of this, they're all going to die, and then they do get out of it, and then at the very end of the movie, when Andy, who's obviously the kid who had all these toys, sorry, Andy, aka the real life Chumpy, goes to college and realizes he can't. I think he wants to take Woody with him or something and leave all the other toys behind, but because of something that happened earlier in the movie, a little girl is like attached to Woody and is like, I want Woody. Woody needs to stay with all the other kids. Sorry, with all the other toys. And Andy like reluctantly gives up Woody. It's like, and yeah, I think the last shot of the movie is Andy driving away in the car and all the toys looking out the window and just waving bye to him, and it's really sad because it's like it's 3 movies of build up to saying goodbye.
It's so sad.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Dude, Monsters Inc.
Oh, that shit's.
That one.
I'm watching you, Lazowski.
Wazowski. Always watching.
um.
That one's kind of sad too.
Have I ever told you that one of the earliest memories I ever have of my existence was when I was like 2 years old, and I remember watching Beauty and the Beast and the animated version from the 90s, and the Beast made me cry. Like I just burst into tears from how scary the Beast was to 2-year-old me.
No.
It's like one of the earliest memories I have,
No.
or I can remember.
That's so sad.
Beauty and the Beast is a sad movie, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, let's be real. A lot of the movies we grew up with have pretty damn sad plots.
Bambi, ladies and gentlemen.
We're moving on.
Yeah, I
New
can't
topic.
believe we managed to get so much out of this topic. I don't know how we even got to this topic, but yeah.
I don't know
okay.
how we got here either.
We're talking about
There's a time we talk
we were talking
about.
about early Infinite, and then we moved on to kids movies.
There's a time we talk about the important, not fun topics.
Yeah, I think you can lead the way, and then I'll jump in. I have
basically, if I was a moderator in the Discord, the whole thing wouldn't have happened.
Which one? Which one?
Both.
Oh, it's just to
Yes,
clarify,
I could have stopped all of them.
we're talking about the Joey and Puma.
Yeah, I could have stopped both of them.
Yeah.
But no.
You're on Twitch,
But
aren't you?
no. You don't trust me.
I'm not going to get into
Or
the whole
whatever.
like moderator things, but I can offer an opinion on the two incidents. Well, an opinion that's really just repeating what's been
I
said
can offer an opinion on the
previously.
2 instances. They both are fucking stupid.
They were both
So they good one?
They both were completely
They
unnecessary.
both didn't need to happen. The one where it was the one I'm thinking of off the top of my head was the one where it was the at everybody's or whatever.
Yeah, that was the Puma incident.
That caused a bit of ruckus. I don't even know why it got to be such big a deal as it ended up being.
It could have been avoided on both sides of the argument. It could have been avoided on the side of the argument that was not Puma, i.e., Sonic,
Yeah.
or anyone else that was complaining. But Sonic was the biggest complainer out of all of them, but not the only one. That's what I should say. Irish wasn't happy with getting the at everyone. I mean, even friggin' Phil, of all people, piped up at one point and said, "Why am I getting pings off my phone for these unnecessary Discord posts or whatever?" Yeah, on that side of the argument, I could say that whole Puma incident could have been avoided if you just ignored it. Like, yes, okay, you got an annoying ping, but did you have to respond to it? You could have just ignored the message. But at the same side, on the flip side of that argument, against Puma
could have just listened to our.
He could have just not. Yeah, he could have. No one was getting annoyed at him doing those posts. The only thing that annoyed people was getting the at everyone, which again, he could have still posted them without atting everyone. He was just trying to, he was trying to get people's attention with it. Oh, the sphere looks really funny. I just saw it on the stream.
Fuck. Yeah, no, what was the other one?
The Joey incident. So that was where Joey somehow snuck back in, and it just turned into a sledging match with Joey in Swan's channel. It was between you, Sonic, Joey, and Swan, with maybe Shadow briefly getting involved.
I really hate that my name's beside that, because I really don't think I did much. I just joked around.
No, you were just sort of in the conversation rather than being involved in it.
I hate how because didn't I get included in that big message thread of whatever problem?
No, okay, so the only reason, so this is my post. The only reason I put you in it is because you were involved in both incidents, but you didn't get pinned with any blame on it. I pinned blame on Sonic because he started both arguments, both incidents.
Yeah.
The Joey incident didn't start off of a Joey post. The Puma incident didn't start off of I mean, I suppose you could argue it did start off of a Puma post, if it, the at everyone post. But that was, it was Sonic who put in the first post in the Puma incident saying, "Stop doing that," in all caps.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, Sonic, you know how the community's toxic.
This is all you, man.
You know how Sonic was
the way.
supposed to be our savior.
Was he?
Of the toxicity. He was supposed to be the one who frees us. The one to start the revolution to end all jump toxicity.
Oh, God.
He's doing a real good job. That's all I gotta say. He's doing a real good job at stopping the toxicity and Halo jumping, and I think people need to lead on his role.
So just FYI, I assume this is sarcasm. This is all sarcasm coming from Chumpy right now.
This is all jokes, because this is the same kid who's been involved with both of these scenarios, and he's the one who preaches that jumping's a toxic place, when in reality it's only a toxic place whenever it's not on his side. There's not much more to my point here. Basically, just I don't enjoy hypocrites. And I'll say it once, I'll say it again. It's hypocritical to be against toxicity and cause like half the problems.
Well, you can be. I was going to say. I think you can change your opinions, or like you can try and change your behavior. Like if you were once toxic, or acted in a toxic way, and wanted to change your ways to sort of stop the toxicity. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can give you. Well, I was going to say I can give you 3 examples, but really I can only give you one very good example.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is DHG Fireball. We keep bringing up 8 years ago, so I'm going to bring it up again, since we love to talk about your 8-year existence.
Shut the fuck up.
Peak MCC 8 years ago, Fireball was the biggest piece of shit in the jumping community. Now, obviously, this was pre-Discord or any of this stuff, but and I'm sure Fireball won't mind me saying all this if he did end up seeing this podcast.
Probably won't.
He probably won't. But yeah, Fireball 8 years ago was the biggest piece of shit going in the community. He was cocky, he was arrogant, and he knew it. He knew he was doing stuff to deliberately annoy people. A lot of the time it was annoying me, and he knew how to twist my buttons and stuff like that. But he got away with it. And what did he do? He grew up. He learned. He became an adult probably just through real life experiences. You know, it probably wasn't even anything to do with jumping. It was probably just getting older and living life and, stuff like that. To the point that now, okay, regardless of, what people's opinions are of Fireball as a as one of the admins or as one of the mods in the Discord, but certainly as a member of the community, like in Xbox parties and stuff like that, I'm not sure like Fireball ever gets himself involved in shit when he's on Xbox.
Strafe did snitch on him yesterday.
What is it? Oh, that was funny. That was so funny. That was just clever, that one. I can't believe he did that, but it was very funny. To get, what made it even funnier was when the guys in the racing Discord figured it out. Like Detail put a link of the poll in the racing Discord, and Detail posted like, "Bruh, who let all the jumpers in?" Because like the vote had swayed from like about 50-50 between Fireball and Real Deal to like 2/3 of the vote was for was for Fireball, and there were like 18 votes in there. So Detail figured it out like instantly. He was like,
Christ.
Yeah, who let the jumpers in?
They know. They're onto our shenanigans. I didn't even
that
vote.
Was so funny.
I didn't even look until I saw that he got caught.
That was very funny.
No.
But no, my point is that you can change your ways, as Fireball has done in the 8 years or less than 8 years since his peak of being a little piece of shit.
Yeah, I think I'm.
But you change your ways by acting your age, by learning to be an adult, things like that.
The fuck? Where am I?
That was weird in the disc. Yeah, I did just see that in the stream. Oh, have you found a piece? You found a piece that's glitched out. You should let Smokey know.
I'm actually not gonna be doing that because this could be a really funny intro. Anyways,
it still works. Yeah. Does it work on the other side? Or just this piece.
Oh yeah, it's broken on both sides. Wow.
Yeah.
Very
so you can change your ways and not come across as a hypocrite by learning to grow up, learning to act like an adult. Hence, Exhibit A or Example A, Fireball. What you don't do is go down, I presume this is where you were leaning with Sonic, with the whole hypocrite quote. What you don't do with Sonic is say you want to get rid of the toxicity in the community while still preaching toxic comments or toxic posts.
Do you remember when Flame left like a few days
Yeah,
ago?
I was gonna bring this up. This was one of the examples I was gonna do.
It left such like I even said something. Usually I'm like quiet, like I'll joke around while the drama and stuff's going on. Like that was the first time I legitimately said something pissed off. It left such a bad taste in my mouth. Such a bad taste.
Was it in any way
like,
necessary? This is the thing. He probably put it in thinking he was funny. He probably thought he was being funny and not being toxic. Who found it funny? Did anyone? I think maybe Fireball, like 3 hours after the post went out, maybe put a comment in saying like my dark humor found this funny. But apart from that, did anybody else find it funny?
I thought it was just.
I don't think anyone else did. I don't think anyone else found it funny.
Which is a shame.
I just looked at it and thought like, what the fuck's this? Like, what's the point of this?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, is it necessary? Is it necessary? And no, that's probably the number one thing. Did he need to put that post in? Was it necessary? And no, it wasn't.
No.
And the fact that like you and Irish and maybe somebody else piped up and said like, well, it's like, no, that just proves that it wasn't funny because other people didn't find it funny.
Because it's like, if Flames had his moments where he's been like, hard to be around, I guess for lack of a better term, but like, this is a guy who's been in the community longer than I have, and we've been making the jokes this whole time that I've been in for however fucking long. You know?
Has he been in longer?
Like, he has a big impact on the community, and it's nothing to make fun of whenever somebody has, like, a meltdown like that.
I mean, yeah, it was on a topic of conversation that was, like, that topic of conversation was also very unnecessary. Like, I get being passionate about a game or just anything. Yeah, you can be passionate about anything. But if you turn that passion into just constant negativity, is it in any way helping you or helping anybody else? That's the reason why
I'm not too... And I wasn't paying much attention to what happened before to cause that meltdown.
Yeah.
I didn't even look, to be honest with you.
It was largely... It was, for the most part, it was just a back and forth between Flame and Rog, because Rog is very... Look, I'm gonna sound cruel when I say this, but if Rog's very invested in Halo, or, yeah, he's very invested in Halo, but I think it's to the point that I don't think Rog has a lot else going on in his life.
Yeah, that's
say
fair.
that. I don't say that in, like I say, I'm not saying that in a cruel way. I'm saying that in a kind of... I'm not saying that in like... I'm not saying it like, Rog, you need to get a life or anything like that. Yeah,
this is like his main thing.
He's very passionate about it, and because Infinite is not off to the hot start that we all would have liked, he's frustrated by that. It's taken like, what, 2 years? Are we talking? Like, yeah, 2 years? When was Infinite supposed to end? When was Halo 5 supposed to end? 2020?
Yeah, it was 2020 COVID.
Yeah, it was supposed to... Halo 5 was supposed to end like around the end of 2020, wasn't it? We had to wait 2 years to finally move Jumping and Forge and everything to Infinite. So we had an extra 2 years on Halo 5. So that's like 2 years of it just like building up in ROG, I guess. And yeah, I can't support though with ROG. It's like I just said like a few minutes ago. You can be passionate about something, but if it just turns into constant negativity, then it's not going to help you, and it's going to affect others. Like Flame, for example. And I'm not saying, oh, okay, what ROG should do is just bottle it all up, because that'll make it even worse. He's got to find a way to just like channel it into positive thinking. Hence my post. MCC was a shit show when it first came out. Halo 5 was a slightly better shit show than MCC.
It was still a shit show,
but it still had problems.
Yeah.
Both of them are now good games, or went on to be good games. Yeah, Halo 5 still has its problems, but even to this day. But how much did we get out of Halo 5 in the 7 years we were on it? Not just with jumping,
Right.
with everything. Custom games, jump maps that aren't ninja, golf, basketball,
Oh
Halo
yeah.
football, whatever it's called. Just everything we got out of this game. And MC is now like... It's the number one game, Halo game, for the racing community to use, because there's so many different games you can use on MCC, going like Halo 3 onwards. Like there's like 4 or 5 different games. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Four different games. No, it is 5. 5 different games within one game you can use in MCC to do racing on. Yeah, it's just... And that's the way you got to look at it. Positive thinking is what I would say. Infinite.
You gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Even with like that whole debate, we can't act like we've been a part of a Halo where it's been bad to start, because we all have. You know. I mean, people like Rog, I guess, because he started on Halo 5, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think Rog's really experienced a jump to the new game.
Yeah.
So I think the people that haven't had that experience yet, I understand why they're, having a hard time working it out, but I think people need to just understand that as much as it sucks, it's a very normal thing for the game at launch to be pretty shitty.
With the exception of Puma, how many of the quote-unquote old guys that have gone through this transition before, like Halo 4 to MCC or MCC to Halo 5, how many of them have actually complained about the game? Because I don't think that anyone has, really.
No, because it's not.
Puma has, but like I haven't, Smokey hasn't, Ump hasn't.
I think Puma will complain about really anything at this point, but like that's a bit harsh. But like you get what I'm saying. Like, Puma complaining.
Puma's
Who's it shocking?
Puma's the exception to the rule in terms of the adult thing, but it's not just specific to the game being bad, which is obviously what Rog's criticism is.
Yeah. No, I think people just need to just be patient, learn the game, because that's the big problem. I think it's just a underlying fact that people are having a lot harder of a time with this new game, and I think just with time it'll work itself out. You just gotta wait, be patient. But no, everybody wants to bitch.
Yeah. Here's another way of looking at it to try and make it in positive energy. If Infinite is as bad and as shitty as everyone is saying it is right now and complaining about it with posts and whatnot, if it's that bad, well, then it can only get better. Like, it can't get... If it's as bad as people think it is, well, then it can't get much worse than what it currently is. And it's not even... I don't even think it's that bad. With the playing on it shows it's not... like an absolute train wreck. It's playable.
I don't think there's anybody more excited about getting their course going right now than I am with that too. Like, do you know how much like possibilities there are with Infinite, with like new competitors and stuff that I'm gonna have now?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
You could get Paddy to finally do a run on your course.
I know, he's never done on... Has he done a run on, like, Irish's course before? Before Infinite?
Yeah, he would have... he cleared stage 1 in the first Infinite tournament, and that should have been his debut, but he decided to compete in Irish's last Halo 5 tournament, so Tournament 20.
Oh.
So that was just as like a nice thing to do, because he was on or something like that. So if that hadn't happened, then yeah, he would have made his Irish debut on Infinite and been for one on stage 1.
Yeah, no. Very, very excited about it, and I think that people just need to stop bitching and complaining. But that's
Yeah.
a bit of a far-sighted argument. I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people won't share that opinion necessarily, but
It's hard to
I
look
don't
at it. Yeah,
know.
all I can do is repeat what I just said. If it's as bad as people think it is, then it can only get better. And I know some people will think like they either won't understand that or like can't be patient enough to understand that. It's just like, oh, things will get better. And it's like, yeah, but when, Hunter? When? I want the game to be ready now. And it's like, well, I don't know when
This
because I
motherfucker's
can't
supposed to be out for like 10 years.
I can't predict the future. But if it's as bad as people think it is, well, then things can only go up. Things can only get better. That's all I can
Right.
say.
Yeah.
Um, but as for Sonic, just to bring it back, uh, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to come across like Mr. King of the world or anything like that, or like seem like I'm being all biased in this opinion. But I think Sonic Sonic is walking a tightrope right now in the Discord. And the biggest problem I'm finding with Sonic is that he never thinks he's done anything wrong. That's the problem. Like, I gave him the 1 day ban because he started both the Joey and Puma argument, and I knew he'd message me about it, but at no point in the conversation, the brief conversation we had in DMs, did he at any point think he did anything wrong. He tried to claim he
Yeah,
didn't
no.
even know. He tried to claim he didn't even know that there was a Joey incident. And then the Puma incident, I know he was talking bullshit. He was like, oh, I'm in a party with Smokey and Snars, and I'm telling them everything that happened, and they both agree with me that I did nothing wrong. I should be taken out of timeout or whatever. So yeah, 3 hours later, when I was in a party with Snars, and Snars tells me, I didn't say any of that. Yeah, that's. Oh, really? Really? So Sonic was lying, was he? No kidding. Like that was, yeah, not a surprise.
That's, you know what? But we can't have toxicity in that server, though. Let's be real. You know. Sorry. There is nothing that frustrates me more in this world than a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And I believe that he is the biggest of hypocrites.
Right now.
And that's as far as jumping goes. I talked to him outside of jumping. He's fine. But when it comes to jumping, he pisses me off. And I know I'm supposed to like not get upset about it, but like it leaves me with such just like a bad feeling.
Swan, if you end up watching any of this, we'd like your opinion as well, because you're the Ball Podcast's #1 fan.
Yeah, pretty much. I think you're the only one who watches these.
The only other I think in here right now is me, so obviously Swan's off somewhere. But
I'll tell you
yeah.
exactly what I think Swan would say. He'd say, I think that Sonic's just a fucking pussy.
Jesus. That's Swan's opinion, not necessarily Champy's.
That's what I think Swan would say, yeah. I mean, he kind of is, though. But I'm not going to get into that, because that's a stretch, but I think he kind of is.
Even the flame incident, like, a few days ago, when you piped up, like, you put this post in, which was unnecessary, you piped up, Irish piped up, Shadow, I think, piped up.
He can only do it behind people's backs. He can only do it, he can't say something to somebody's face.
Oh, yeah, he's hiding behind the Discord, or hiding behind a keyboard.
And every time he does say something to somebody's face, he does it in such a backhanded way. And then he's just like, what do you mean I caused a problem?
Yeah.
I can't cause a problem.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
And then he'll go and talk the utmost shit behind people's backs. I don't, like, it's not helpful for the community. It's not helpful for my brain power when I'm trying to study for, exams. And I have to go look at the Discord and see an eruption was caused by the motherfucker.
Yeah.
It just...
Well,
Not
no,
it for me.
this one at least was different because although he was the source that started the Joey and Puma incident, and in the occasion of the Flame incident, he didn't start it, but when Flame decided to leave and the conversation was over, the fire was going out, and Sonic just runs into the building and chucks a can of gasoline on it, and the fire goes up again. It's like the conversation was over, and then started back up again because he put that post in.
I'm looking back, and Sonic was talking to me about that whole, like, your conversation with him about why he got banned or whatever. Because he said to me, he started the conversation with, we can agree that I'm solely being timed out from spite, right? And I was like, while I disagree with your take, I'm not going to argue it because I think I was busy and I didn't really care. But
this is your message.
And then he said, I'm not telling you to. And then he said, I think Hunter dislikes me and is taking it out on me because of it. Because, well, he does dislike me. And I said, I'm just going to talk to him like an adult. Because I think I was having a conversation with you about the same thing. Because you put the ad bit for me too. Oh, welcome to the podcast, Sane.
Welcome to the podcast, Sane. I thought this party was locked up.
Sane, this is gonna be the most unfortunate kick out I'm ever gonna have to do in my
life.
life.
Let's Sane say something first.
Yeah, Sane. What do you guys say to the Bald podcast?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, go for it.
This is the one thing you get to say in the podcast before we're gonna have to ask you to leave. What would you like to say?
That I found Hunter's key in Hunter's Lodge in Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Yeah, I watched that bit. I only watched 20 minutes of it because I didn't want to get the whole game spoiled. I didn't want the whole demo spoiled for me, but I did watch that and I did laugh when you got the Hunter. I'm in the Hunter house.
Hunter's house is huge. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for the game. You should be too. Alright, so I'll see you guys.
I'll see you, Sane. Woo! Guest on the podcast, Sane the Legend.
Okay, so that was our guest for this episode for about a minute.
Alright, we can put Sane in the thumbnail. We're good. No.
You can get that picture of him with sunglasses or something. Yeah, Sonic's chat to you. He was trying to... Yeah.
He just went on about how he only did it. He thinks he only did it because it was a personal thing.
No, it's just like...
I'm like, that's not... that's so not what happened.
No.
Like,
exactly.
At no point could it have been personal because, one, it's not even your decision all the way. You have to go through Fireball too.
Yeah, I went through Fireball with all of this as well. So it's not a me decision, it's a we decision.
So there is no way that it can be a personal thing unless it is personal with both of them. And I know for a damn fact Fireball doesn't give two shits.
No.
So the whole concept was why, and he was trying to like get me to like side with him to say that Hunter being the admin's really bad and shouldn't be a thing, and I was just like, gross.
Well,
I don't know. I disagree with pretty much everything that has come out of his mouth within the past 3 months, but
you say like a year.
It's all too much.
Since whenever the last podcast happened, and you were talking about the jump revolution and talking about how you guys were in that group chat.
We need somebody to lead the way to stop toxicity in Halo jumping. We need somebody to lead that pact.
Oh, let me guess. Does that someone who's leading the way? Does his name start with S and end with Onik?
I think that we need to ban Hunter Unit 751. I think he's a real problem in the server. He's causing
Uh,
all the problems because he's the one that's actually banning me. So that means it's not my fault, right? It's his, you know? There is no circumstance where I can be considered a toxic person, you know?
You know what's ironic
I'm
in all
kind of
this?
rambling at this point.
Yeah. You know what's ironic in all this is that for how much shit, like Joey's taken a lot of shit in the nigh on 3 years he's been here. Initially, the shit he
Has
got
it
was
been
just because
that long? Shit.
well, it's in 2020, wasn't it? So like almost 3 years.
Yeah.
In fact, Jesus Christ, next month is 3 years since 22 came out, and so yeah, it is 3 years. It is literally 3
Halo
years.
Sasuke is 3 years old.
Yeah, so,
I don't know
so
if you wanted
yeah,
me to hit
what
you
I
with
was going to
that,
say, I was going to make a reference to a comparison between Joe and Sonic. Joe's taken a lot of shit in the 3 years he's been here. First, it started with him being like a sweaty tryhard. Then he got a lot of shit for saying the N-word, which understandable.
Of course.
And nowadays, most of the shit he gets is for being either toxic or just stirring up trouble, like in parties or the brief time when he was in Discord.
Nowadays, he is the 2020 Chumpy.
But like,
Joey.
what I mean is like he stirs trouble, but he does it like he tries to act like he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because it's incredibly ironic that Sonic's trying to take this stance when he's basically doing the same thing as Joey. But the problem is, because it's Sonic doing it and not Joey doing it, he thinks he gets a free pass. It's an interesting comparison, but if you actually think about it and break it down, it's not actually that far-fetched. It's a little less... Don't get me wrong, Joey is way more extreme with what he does than Sonic, or what he says than Sonic. And Sonic isn't doing it like... Sonic isn't, like, acting up every single day. I'm not saying Joey acts up every day, but it feels like it sometimes when you're in a party.
It really does feel like it sometimes.
Yeah, Sonic's not acting up every single day, but he is acting up, and he's causing problems, and and then he goes on the defensive and acts like, I've done nothing wrong. What are you calling me toxic? Like the arrogance I felt like I was seeing from his messages when he was trying to call you out, like, oh Chumpy, what are you doing calling me toxic? I'm not toxic. Like, what?
Dude, that whole spiel was fucking stupid. Because,
yeah.
like, what did even... So, Flame left. He put that gif in, and I was like, you can't, say you're not toxic, and then do toxic things. That's not how it works.
Yeah, and then he tried to claim it was just a joke, but yeah. He tried to claim he was just joking, but the reality was it was just like nobody else thought it was a joke.
Yeah, and even I made a dumb joke. I literally put, I don't know if it's too soon to make a joke, but at least my course is getting more jump clout now that Flame's gone. And like that's like at least a little bit funny,
I just remembered, wasn't there an
lot.
incident? I just remembered, wasn't there a thing of the day? Yeah, there was a thing yesterday where there wasn't like a bunch of kids arguing or something. Oh, it's all coming back to me now because Strafe got really pissed off with me yesterday in the party.
Yeah.
There was a thing yesterday, like where a bunch of like the little kids were arguing with each other. Like I think they were just like playful like they're just joke. They were having a chompy argument, like where you and Swan like playfully like fuck you, Ethan, fuck you.
yeah, right. Yeah.
They were just having a playful argument with each other, and then Matt and Strafe, I think, jump in. I don't think you jumped in. Matt and Strafe.
I think I did, because I remember I was just joking around with Matt the entire time.
Yeah, and then eventually, like they're like, "Oh shit, the kids are starting. Let's dip out." And so, like Matt drops out, and then you drop out, and then Strafe puts a comment in like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna dip out with you guys as well." And Sonic responds to that and says to Strafe something along the lines of like, "You're mentally the most dumb person here or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. Oh, I
Hold
did
on.
find it. Okay.
Oh, it was
wait,
you, and yeah, it was you, and I think so. Doesn't someone also put in the chat something
Me,
like
me and Matt were just having nostalgia about burning down the Halo Football League.
I think someone at one point, I can't remember if it was Sonic or somebody else.
Dude, Sonic hit Valon with the "Who are you?" after
That's
Valon told him to
literally
stop it.
what I was about to say. I was about to say someone said to Shadow, "Who even are you?" or something, and that was Sonic as well.
That was Sonic.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. He responds to Strafe and says, "You're mentally the most childish person here." And Strafe did not like that. I was in the party with him just before the races last night, and he was saying to me like he was holding back from responding to Sonic, like he wanted to go in hard on Sonic. It's just like, dude, what the fuck?
No, I've about had enough. I don't enjoy it. It makes my days worse. It's just not it.
Yeah.
Fireball just put his chill music in there. Appreciate
Everyone's
that.
putting in their chill music.
I know. Dude, I started a whole thing today because I put my album rankings.
Did you change the name of your cat, or is it still called Darcy?
It's a she and
She,
Darcy.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, you should listen to, you'd like the Paramore album.
Yeah.
You'd fuck with it. Yeah, what else is
yeah, so I think we're done. Basically, the moral of the story
with that.
The moral of the story is Sonic is walking a tightrope.
Chill the fuck out.
Sonic's walking a tightrope because he thinks he can get away with it. If it carries on, maybe it'll carry on for a little bit longer. I will be speaking Fireball about it, and I'll be highlighting, he's done this, he's done this, he's done this. Like, have you seen these messages he's putting in? Like, they're completely unnecessary. And if he agrees with me, and then it still carries on, then he's lucky not to be on strike one already. He's on his way to being on strike one. Like, he got the 1 day timeout, and that was just as a light warning. Like, yeah, he needs to just chill out and just not cause this unnecessary shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, in better news, I went to Ohio.
Yeah?
It's the blessed state of Ohio. I almost died.
Oh, God.
There
What
were
happened?
lava monsters.
What?
Dude, Ohio is a desolate, desolate place. You do not want to go there. There were lava monsters. I almost died.
I think if for some reason moved to
This
America.
is a very American joke I'm making here, so I'm not surprised that you don't get it. I just wanted to confuse the shit out of you. Yeah, basically, I survived the lava monsters.
You can go to Ohio then.
Ohio. The desolate
Is this a
land.
Mario reference?
No, it's just Ohio's a shithole.
Oh.
Irish is from Ohio.
Oh.
That's like the only positive I think Ohio has, really. Wait, cheese is from there?
I was going to say, is there any other jumpers we know that are from Ohio?
I think just cheese and Rish, man. Yeah.
I have one other topic, but if you have anything else you'd like to discuss first, that's
I want
happened.
to hear your topic, man.
So, this is this is probably all going to come out in my own podcast whenever it does get filmed or does happen, but consider this the early exclusive for anyone that watches the Bold podcast. This is a Bold podcast exclusive.
Oh shit.
It's just a pre-early. Everything I'm about to say is probably going to get repeated in my own podcast, which will get uploaded at some point in the future on my channel. But basically, I would like to discuss my channel right now and where I'm at, because it can't exactly have gone unnoticed. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't make a joke about it when I mentioned it a few minutes ago. Tournament 22.
I kind of just make that joke all the time, man.
Tournament 22 is coming up to 3 years now since it came out, and so far we have one episode out. Now, I am in the middle of editing episode 2. It's coming along okay. Like, I've still got plenty of work to do, but it's on its way. I think it just needs to be discussed as to like where we are at with the channel right now, because I'm not gonna lie, it has been a struggle. It has really been a struggle to find the time to do this. With where I'm at in life, work-wise, it's just my work. I've mentioned it before in the podcast, I think, in this podcast, but like work really takes a lot out of me in terms of how much I have to put into it. And because of that, oh my god, I can't believe I just saved that. Because of that, I find myself with not a lot of free time in my life. Like, in fact, I think I made this comparison before. Like, 2/3 of my life, or maybe like anywhere between like 2/3 and 3/4 of my life in the average week, I spend either working or sleeping. And then the remaining. Jeez. And then the remaining, like, 25 to 33% of my life that's free time, I need to, I can't spend it all editing. Like, I don't know how Rog does it. He turns into a fucking robot. When a tournament comes along, he spends 3 weeks hosting it, and then he locks himself away. When did his tournament happen? Like, Christmas and January, wasn't it?
I think so. It was when I came back.
Christmas, yeah, like over the Christmas break and then into early January. And it just came out now, like a week ago at the start of March. So like Rog, when a tournament comes along for Rog, he hosts it for three or 4 weeks.
I think it ended late January.
And then after the tournament ends, he then disappears. He disappears from Xbox, and he turns into an editing machine for like anywhere between 4 weeks and 8 weeks. Anywhere between a month and two to edit the tournament, get it all done and ready. I can't do that. I can't do that for 2 reasons. One, because I don't have the patience to edit a whole episode like non-stop, like every day work on an episode. And 2, even if I did have the patience, I haven't got the free time. I haven't got the free time to be doing that.
Right.
So, my free time, I usually spend it doing a lot of different things. I play sports. I play football, as I've mentioned. I played in the snow last week. I play it just as much to keep fit and keep active as I do to actually enjoying playing football, because I like football. I do ninja when I can. I don't have the gym anymore. Like, that's not been a thing for like 2 years now. But when it was a thing, I was trying to go to the gym, the ninja gym, once every week to train. Now, basically, I don't train at all for ninja, and I only like get to do some proper training when I go to a comp or something like that. When I do a comp, that's basically a weekend that's thrown away, because like last week, for example, I had a comp last Sunday. So 6 days ago.
Right.
And yeah, I have to plan the whole weekend around that. So like I can't stay up late on Saturday nights. I've got to go to bed early Saturday night. I'm then out all day Sunday, traveling, competing, and then traveling back. So that's a Sunday written off. Now, granted, because the competition was on a Sunday, I'll take holiday. Like, I'm not gonna like get back home at like midnight on a Sunday and then go to work the next day.
You're right.
So I did take advantage of, like, I took holiday, and during the holiday I did do some more editing. So I did some editing on Monday and Tuesday. It was more so Tuesday, actually, because I felt like absolute shit on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and then even then, ignoring all of that, then there's just the most basic things, like in terms of like chilling out. Like, I watch TV, I watch sports. I watch YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot
Sit
of
on the
little
Bald
things.
podcast with Atlantic Champ.
Yeah. Oh, it's the
Yeah.
blessing in disguise. Like, there's nothing better and there's nothing worse than have a new video that I want to watch come out, but it's a fucking 2-hour podcast or something like that. It's like, oh god, how am I? Even like Rog's video, like I only just finished. Now, granted, it didn't help that I didn't get to watch the whole premiere, but like I've only just finished like rewatching the whole tournament, and the tournament's been out for a week. And the reason it's taken me a week to watch the whole tournament is because I've only got so much free time. And I don't want to sit down for 3 hours. Like, well, I could have sat down for the whole 3 hours and watch the whole thing in one go, but I have other things to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm babbling on now, and I'm making it seem like excuses. But,
These are all excuses. Where's the episode, Hunter? Let's talk about that.
it's being edited. We've edited all. I've edited all the runs, and about half of them have all the special effects on them. I just need to put the special effects on the other runs, and then do everything else, like the fast forwards, the profiles, the intro, the outro, all that
blah,
stuff.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Hunter's taking forever. Here we go. I'm not just kidding.
Here's another problem. Here's one other problem that at the time I didn't think was a problem, and now I think it is a problem. So when the pandemic hit, I used it as an opportunity to get some videos out, get some tournaments out. I can't remember which tournament we were on at the time, maybe like tournament 20 or something like that. Uploading that stuff. But I also wanted to use the like all that free time that we now had, because we were all at home doing nothing, to get more content out there, like jumping stuff. Hence, the start of things like the quiz or the top 10s. Now, I mentioned, I've said this in the past, and I sort of half mentioned it just now. I don't have the patience I've never had the patience to just constantly edit tournaments, because I've said it before, if I did just tournaments, I'd lose my mind. Like, I think I would literally go insane. So the joys of the bonus content, as well as it being like bonus content to get on the channel, was editing it kept me feeling fresh. Like, I kept feeling like, oh, I'm doing something different. I'm editing something different that's not just a tournament. And it's fun. The problem I've got now is I think I'm at the point where, because of how stressful life is and like how much little free time I have got to edit, I now am too stretched out to do anything else. What I mean by that is, I want to edit a tournament. If I want to edit a tournament, I can't be like filming quiz episodes, or I can't be filming top 10s.
Yeah.
I filmed a top 10 with Killer and Avows. I don't even know when, like end of January or maybe in February or something like that. I've got no intention of getting it out anytime soon, because I need to get to work on these episodes. And so all my work has gone into this latest episode. But because I only have so much free time, I'm only getting to do a little bit of the editing of the episode every week or every weekend. That just means that the top 10, it's going to, week after week after week, it's going to take... I'm surprised Killer or Avowals hasn't messaged me saying, hey, where's this top 10 that we filmed? Why isn't this out? What's going on?
Yeah.
So all of this... No. Sorry, anyway, all of this is leading to what the point of why I'm bringing this up, which is a schedule idea. A sort of mini schedule idea of what I want to do going forward. I don't want to stop. I do. I'm going to the quizzes and the top 10s, but I don't want to just stop them instantly when we're still in the middle of like uploading stuff. So, oh my god! I just saw you go from the first to the third globe and almost made it.
I'm going for it again.
In my head, I think I'm going to do either one more episode of the quiz or maybe two. The second one...
There needs to be the finale. I won one and lost one. I need to
Well, no.
get my title.
If I only end up doing one more, then I already know what it is, and I already know the two people that are doing it because it's been long in the waiting. If I do two more, then I already know what the theme of the second one is because I kind of spoiled the last quiz episode that went out. I said what the theme was going to be. It was going to be a hunter themed episode. So it's either going to be if I do two more quiz episodes, then the first of the two will be hunter episode. If I only do one more of the quiz, then the hunter episode's been scrapped, and we're going to the finale episode. So either one or two. Top tens. Killer and of Owls. We filmed it. I just need to edit it.
Right.
I think that's the 8th episode. That's the 8th top 10. So after I do that, I think maybe I'll do two more of them and then stop. And then in terms of going forward, I'm not ruling it out in the future. I'm not ruling out bringing them back in the future. And, maybe life comes down and I have more free time. The top 10s, definitely be a thing in the future. There's an infinite amount of, if you like the joke, there's an infinite amount of ideas you in Halo jumping. So
we're cutting out of a podcast.
It could definitely be a series that. Yeah, it's definitely a series come back in the future on Infinite in a couple of years. The quiz, the only way that could come back is if people were interested in it, because I need contestants to be able to do it. So that one could still come back in the future, but it's less likely. So, and again,
you just gotta start a podcast, man.
Well, that's what I'm going to come on to in a minute. So, this schedule for the quizzes and the top 10s, I also don't know. I'd love get them all done this year. There's no guarantee that's going to happen with the way we're into the 3rd month of the year already, and I've uploaded nothing. I don't think. So there's no guarantee that this plan I've got of having 2 more quiz episodes and uploading 3 more top 10 episodes, there's no guarantee that's all going to happen by the end of the year. We could still be talking about it in a year's time. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I would like it to be done because I know we're still hanging on to Halo 5 a little bit right now with golf and basketball.
Right.
Whenever we wrap up golf and basketball, whenever we wrap up all the side projects on Halo 5 and we finally say bye-bye to Halo 5, that's when I hope I can say, I'm done with all the side series stuff, like top 10s and the quizzes in that time, around about the same time, so that I'm not hanging around on Halo 5, or I'm not dragging people back into Halo 5 to come do a quiz episode or something.
Right.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it's the end of bonus content on the channel. I think what I'm leaning towards now is longer content, longer video content that requires absolutely no editing. So, i.e., podcasts and maybe Let's Plays, possibly. Let's Plays hasn't been a thing on my channel for a couple of years, but it has been stuff that I've done in the past. Uploading long Let's Play episodes of games where I don't need to edit anything could be a possibility, because it still puts content on the channel, but I don't have to do anything with it. All I have to do is record it, check it to make sure all the audio comes through, and if it's a podcast, make sure no one says anything racist. Record it, check it.
My favorite personally is a 5K.
Yeah. Record it, check it, upload it, and that would be it. And then the rest of the time, the rest of the editing time could be then put into the episodes. In terms of the tournaments themselves, sorry, you know what? I've mentioned all these excuses. I haven't even talked about the other problem I have, which is, because of this lack of free time, I'm nowhere near anywhere with Forge right now. I've fiddled around with it. I haven't got a course. I've got an idea in my head of the entire course, but very little of it has been forged. Very little of it has been forged, because I just haven't had the time to sit down for 3 hours and forge, or sit in spend a 3-hour session in Forge building stuff, because I'm not fully up to date with the Forge. I'm not used to it yet. I haven't had enough like sessions in it where I've just sat in it for hours and played around with stuff. And I need to find the time to do that. I want to host this tournament in July, and there's no chance that's going to happen unless I finally like sit down and start doing.
Dude, I will never forget when I first sat down to forge my map. By the way, my map's forged all the way.
Yes.
Just so that everybody knows. It's all done. It's ready to go. What I'm going to say is that I did it all within the span of like 24 hours.
That should give
That's
me
not a
confidence.
joke.
That really should give
I
me
did
confidence.
slight edits since then. But
Yeah.
that whole course that you're going to see, the like mainframe of it and stuff, that was all within the span of like 24 hours. Breaks, obviously. I'm not a psychopath. But
Well, yeah, that should give me confidence. Like, if you can forge a whole, and granted, your map, without giving away spoilers, it's not like the map itself is like vast. You know, it's just your 3 stages all closely next to each other on a map. You know, it's not like Rog's course, let's say, where he's like built all this extra shit and stuff like that, and like spread it out over the map. So
yeah.
You know, it would probably take me a little bit longer than 24 hours. But if you can forge everything that fast, then that should give me some confidence when I finally sit down and start doing stuff. The biggest thing for me is I haven't been back in Forge for like probably since like January. Like I had a couple of sessions over Christmas and then in January, but I haven't been in since. So I just need to sit down and just get used to it. Is my big thing. I just need to get used to everything in Forge.
I will say, though, I find it really funny that it's been, like, how long since you hosted your last tournament? This isn't a dig on
17,
you. I'm about to
17
make, I
months.
promise.
17 months.
Dude, it has been 9 months. Well, no, it has been 7 months. It will be 9 months when I start my tournament. And everybody is like, oh, this course is dead. It's dead. It's so gone.
Well, you know
gone.
why? It's because
I'm like, dude, I'm doing half a hunter unit.
I was going to say, you know why? It's because you're in step 2. You're in phase 2 of hibernation, which is everyone saying your course is dead. I'm in step 3 of hibernation, where everyone has already everyone's given up, saying my course is dead, and it's just become the norm to not talk about it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe dare I say it's got to be a personal choice. Maybe I just need to find a way to just like not be a fucking workaholic and not work for not. Oh God, I don't know. Maybe I need to get myself fired. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, maybe you should quit your job. You know, the point that I was going to try to make was that like because obviously I'm not at the pace I used to be at with tournaments. First things first, this should be the longest break that I ever take. I'm really hoping that's the case. You know?
Yeah.
Because like it's not like I couldn't. Like, if I had access to an Xbox, I couldn't have run a tournament, like, over winter break or something, you know?
Yeah.
I definitely have been capable, but I didn't have the Xbox to do it. Which, you know, that's my fault. But think about, though, how much better my course is going to be now that I've situated my course in a way that I think is great. Like, I've taken the time to do that and not just start a course and then have it get, like, fucked by an infinite update or have it not necessarily look as up to par. Like, I think the people that just, like, started a course right away are dealing with. It's not a dig on them. Like, I'm actually impressed that, like, Irish got a tournament out at the rate that he did. But we can't act like the course he put out was what he was, you know, hoping for.
I don't think any course. So of the, well, I was going to say of the 4, but I mean Abs does its own thing anyway with every course. With every course every new ABS tournament that comes out, you never know what to expect on an abs tournament anyway. So maybe what they forged is what they wanted anyway. But of the other three, Rog, Flame, and Irish, I don't think any of them could look at their first I don't think any of them could look at their course in their first tournament and say it's a step up from the course they had in their final Halo 5 tournament. I think all of them would have to say it's a step down in terms of difficulty.
Yeah. But, like, for instance, I think that the big step up with my new map that I think people will find is that it looks better than I think any other map I've made has been. Everything is, like, well put together. I think that it looks just like it's a pretty map. The only complaint is the water, and let's be real, everybody hates the water effects now that we have to use because there aren't any water effects. But like,
that's one thing. I tell you what,
I look at Irish's map and I'm like, there is no way that he looks at this and is like, yeah, this is the perfect looking map. You know, this is exactly what I want to be filmed for an hour and a half, you know?
I think Irish's has definitely had the roughest treatment. I feel like I know a lot of people had issues during his first tournament with like lag, like it was like glitchy stuff like that. There was stuff
It's
I don't know if
really
it was
weird that his got that lag and mine's pretty clean as of me having people on.
Yeah, and I don't
he has
recall
a lot
having
less
any
pieces than I do.
I don't recall having any sort of issues like the issues I had on Irish's course compared to on when I did Rogs or Flames. So I'm not sure what the problem is.
Yeah.
I was going to say I was just going to say quickly about the water effects, which kind of circles back perfectly to the beginning of our podcast when we were talking about Rogs tournament. If I have to give one massive criticism to Rogs tournament, is that every time somebody failed, you know, the Halo 5 thing that him and Smokey did, because there was obviously floor underneath the water, whereas if someone died, you like pan the camera down, look at their dead body in the water. The biggest criticism I have to give Rog in this tournament is every time someone died, he looked down, but because the water isn't water, it's just a floor with a kill barrier. The Spartans disintegrate when they hit the floor. All he's doing is looking at blue floor. Like, we're looking at nothing. He zooms in on a blank blue floor with nothing there except an energy sword. It's like, what are we looking at? It's just,
I don't know.
For one run, I can't remember. He did it for one run. I think he held the shot for like almost 10 seconds. It was like literally 10 seconds of looking at a blue floor.
Yeah, no. I don't think that's necessarily a fault on his behalf. Because obviously, if he had access to actual water like he used
it's a filming.
to.
Well, no, I mean, it's what I mean is it was a filming choice. Like, he chose to look down because it's the norm. He's done it for like 23 tournaments. Like, look at the dead bodies. Right. But like he needs to learn to not do that because there's nothing there. He's looking down at nothing.
Yeah, no, I think at least mine looks slightly like water because of like the effects of the texture and stuff. At least if you're looking far enough away, you'll be like, yeah, that's water. You know. But obviously that's not what we aim for. But
yeah, but everything I just said, it's probably going to come out in one of my own like podcasts or videos or something like that when I start like trying to get somewhere with content, just talking about where content will be, like where it's going, like in the future. Wow, that's a rip, Chumpy. You're just overshooting that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
I'm just not going to talk about what happened there.
80 to 90% of my fails on that are from coming short. So when I get a fail where I overshoot, I just think, like, what is life?
Yeah.
You're looking at a map right now in Machinima, and that's the sort of thing that, like, we hope our maps end up looking like. Like, because I think Smokey's map looks... yours and Smokey, I think, looks fantastic. Irish's, not so great. Rog's, I think, is okay. He's making it work because he wants to go down this desert theme. And Flames is okay. It's just got the same problem of like there's nothing on the map. Like it's just the course,
Right.
and that's it. But I do like that it's like on the ground as well, and like you can just wander around on Flames.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the idea. I really just want to. I don't know when things are going to change, if they will change, in terms of me getting more free time to edit, but I want to try and find a way to improve things so that hopefully episode 2 will be out soon, and then obviously more episodes in the coming months, all building up to, because I want to get all of 22 uploaded, or like everything except the finale episode uploaded by July, so that I can then announce Tournament 24 in July. That's the target. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I need to find the free time because at the rate I'm going in terms of how much I'm editing every week, that's not going to happen. And on top of that, I would then need to find even more free time to forge the whole course as well. So yeah, but that's a kind of idea of it, from the video side of it. On top of the fact of the quizzes, the top 10s, they're coming to the end of their cycle for a little while, maybe a few years. But I do want to wrap them up and do a few more without like just completely binning them, and then people are like, whatever happened to the quizzes? That's
Since we're on it, I
might have to wrap this up soon.
I
was gonna say this can be the last topic, but I got Puma messaging me to do a golf round.
Oh god. Yeah, no, since you went over your plan for the year, I'll go over mine as well. So obviously, 50 days.
Woo! Yeah.
Whoa! And then, so that'll be around May, early May. I'm hoping to get that premiered in June, early to mid-June, and then start my next one in July. So I want to do 2 over my summer break. And the way I want to end the year off is 1 more in December. So it might be 2 this year, it might be 3 this year. The thing that needs to be heard though is that we are dead. I have to restate it. We're not dead. We're approaching it, but we're not there yet.
Do you think it's so when just to clarify, when do you break up from college? Like, when are you back permanently for the summer? Presumably it is in the May,
I'm
like
going to
May
be
time.
back early May, I think the week before I start my tournament. So I'm going to have the map public a week before I come home.
Okay. And when do you reckon you're going back? Like, to start the new year?
August.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to have a premiere in June. I'm going to try to have a premiere in August, and the goal is to have a premiere New Year's.
Okay.
That's the target right now.
It's interesting.
Obviously, it could very well not be. I'd expect, the 3rd, I guess it'd be tournament 18 by that point. Either very, very late December to early January.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I've got. It's funny. It's funny seeing all these different like ideas and plans in people's heads for hosting tournaments. Especially with looking at. So one of the things I really liked in Rog's map and in the tournament that just came out is at the stage 1 start line, just to the side, he's got a little thing like how many, like, which tournaments were hosted which year.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, 2016...
I gotta figure it out for mine.
Like, 2016
because you know what that's gonna be like?
Oh, go on.
It's gonna be like a tournament a week after each other for, like, 7 tournaments, and it's just gonna be, like, growing further and further apart.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say, is that, like... in like his course started in 2016, and he had 5 tournaments in that first year, and then he had another 5 tournaments in 2017. But then it was after that when you realize, we've talked about this before, like I hosted 2 tournaments in the space of a month at one point on Halo Reach, and then obviously look at me now. Like, life changes. Smokey, obviously, life has changed for him. He had 12. He had, like, what was it, 12 tournaments in 2 years on Halo 4, and then he had another 4 tournaments in 1 year on MCC. And now life has changed for him. And it's the same thing with ROG. Everyone bigged up ROG a few years ago as being like the go-to guy for tournaments for how frequent he hosted them. And to be fair, he was good. He was fantastic for the first like 17, 18 tournaments, and then life happened. Because I think it was either 17 to 18 or 18 to 19. It was a 6-month gap between the tournament, and whereas the biggest gap I think before that was like 3 months. So the fact he managed to, he managed to have a tournament on average like every 2 to 3 months for the first 7 months, and then life becomes a thing even for ROG. And it's the same thing with everyone. So I like that you've got this plan. You've mixed it in with obviously real life.
Because I gotta like take my scenario, because the goal is this year to get 2, and then after that, like at the bare minimum 2, and to try to get like a consistent 3, maybe 4 going a year.
Because this is the other thing as well,
target.
is that's the other thing as well, like Leon, without jumping back into talking about Niwa, is that July is the target for me, for 2 reasons. One, because if it's not in July, then it'll be 2 years since I hosted a tournament. The last tournament was in August 2021. So July is like the absolute latest if I want to avoid that joke being made. But also, I do have a sort of 5-year plan in my head for the tournaments going forward.
5 years.
In terms of like, I want to have, like, not gonna lie, I'm only gonna if I have the next tournament in July, it will probably be the only Niwa tournament this year. But, big but, I do want Niwa to become more than a 1 tour a year course again. It's crazy to say that because it's been fucking 8 years or almost 9 years since that was a thing. But I do have a 5-year plan for where the course is going, and there's a reason why I'm saying 5 years that won't become no one will know about until 5 years in the future. This is a big Boldcast prediction. This is a big Boldcast exclusive.
Bald podcast.
This is a huge Bold podcast exclusive that no one will understand until about 4 or 5 years in the future, if it even happens. But yeah, I have a 5-year plan, and the reason why it's a 5-year plan, or the only way I can hit this 5-year plan, is if Niwa tournaments become more than a one tournament a year thing. Because if they don't, they stay as 1 tournament a year thing, then I won't be able to do this 5-year plan I've got. But yeah, that's all for the future. That was a mini. That was a mini.
Is the plan for it to end after 5 years?
No, not necessarily. There's an idea. I've got some ideas. It's not to end though. I certainly hope not to end.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was sort of that wasn't really an exclusive. It was more of a tease. I'll be honest. That was a Boldcast tease. That was rather than an exclusive.
Yeah, but to wrap up my points, and then I'm doing final remarks, and we're ending. 2 tournaments at the bare minimum this year. I'm not dead. I promise.
Yeah.
At the bare minimum, and honestly, I think 2 tournaments a year in regards to like the other bigger hosts isn't even that bad.
Nah.
Because
how many did you host
last year? I had 3, but I had a premiere on like January, like the first week of January. No, because like the way this college semester started, because it started in August. That was when I had 15 premiere. Was in August.
Yeah.
And like that took up the last 4 months of the year. So the last third of the year was taken up by doing college stuff.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm almost done. I just gotta get through my semester, man. That's number one priority, of course. But I'm home, so I can talk about the jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah. The goal is to graduate. It is not to host a certain amount of tournaments.
If you had 2 this year, because part of why
I just realized I said I could possibly have 18 done by the end of this year. I'm catching up to you, big man.
Oh, no, God. Okay, I was gonna say what I was gonna say was that was the other thing with Rog's little section where like how many tournaments each year, just as a comparison, because you said you want to have at least tournaments this year. Rog only had 2 tournaments last year. And then in 2021 he only had 1 tournament because of the whole Forge gaff. Like people forget Rog, there was a 16-month gap between tournament 19 and tournament the whole 343 fuck up.
Right.
The game got delayed. The game got announced in 2020, got delayed for exactly 1 year, and Rog decided I'm going to wait it out. And then obviously when it was announced that Forge was going to be delayed, that's when he finally caved in and decided to host 20. But the gap from 19 starting to 20 starting was 16 months.
Yeah.
Which people forget. Yeah. But yeah, he had 1 in 2021 and he had 2 last year. And I don't know how many obviously he's already had 1 already this year. But like, so I don't know if he's going to try and host like 3 maybe. Possibly, we'll see. But if you had 2, I think that'd be fine. If you had 3, it'd be great. You know, because I can't see Rog hosting 4 tournaments this year. I don't know how many Smokey's going to host, but he's surely not going to host 4.
Right.
Maybe 3, possibly. So if you had at least 2, but managed to get 3, that would be great.
Yeah, no, and because honestly, I have like the motivation of somebody running like 6 a year, and I cannot do 1 right now.
No.
So I've spent that energy, like, the tournament 16. Once I host it, is gonna come out quick, because I've set myself up to get it out quick. Like you've been there. I've practically done most of the like fine details already to make it look like a good tournament. You know?
Yeah.
I just gotta put it all together. I pretty much set myself up to where I gotta put it all together and commentate it. Which it's not gonna take more than 2 weeks to do that. So I like my future. Who knows? Maybe I'll get the tournament out in May and run it in
Fingers crossed.
June.
Then you just don't have any. Fingers crossed. Then you just don't have any like little issues, because that's one thing. Again, so I haven't mentioned it. So this editing of this episode is coming along, but one issue that will cause a delay is I have a problem with my external hard drive, which has all of my like old tournaments on it. You know, I don't know if you've got an external hard drive, but
I do.
The USB port inside the external hard drive has come loose, or like it's come out, so it's inside the external hard drive. But if you like pick it up, and if I like shake it around, I can hear the USB port rolling around the inside of the external hard drive.
Yeah.
So I need to take it to a repair shop and get them to fix it, because presumably it can't be that difficult to fix a USB port. I hope. I'm fucking praying that it's not that difficult to fix a USB port. Otherwise, yeah, I've got 900 gigs worth of files on that external hard drive that I would need to find a way to move it to somewhere else, because otherwise I'd have an external hard drive that's fucking useless. But yeah, I need to get that fixed, because otherwise I can't use the hard drive, and if I can't use the hard drive, I can't get old clips for like profiles or things like that.
Right.
If we're talking about the top 10s, the whole top 10s exist off of the external hard drive, because that has all the old tournaments on them. So like without the external hard drive, the top 10 show would be dead. So I have
Yeah.
to get the hard drive fixed. Yeah. So I'm hoping it's not. I can keep editing because there's plenty of stuff still to edit for this next episode. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm hoping that I can get take it to some repair shop, get them to fix it, and I'll get it back in time for me to then, make the profiles. It's either that or I finish everything else, and the only thing I've got left to do is the profiles, and I still have got the problem fixed, and it's like, well, shit, I'm going to have to stop and not do any editing for, a week or something, whilst I take this thing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, you got a golf match to play against Puma.
Me and Puma, we're going to do it together live.
I'm going to be rooting for Puma in that match.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. So we've hit the 2-hour mark, which means we have to end because I think Snoz was the one who was talking shit about that earlier. Anything else?
I don't think we've got a theme for the. I don't think we've got a theme for the of this podcast. The last one was obviously the Swan podcast, part 2.
Yeah.
I don't. One was Strofe was like
I'd
the
probably
geography podcast.
I probably just call. I just call this theme like the
Plans
whatever.
podcast.
The future.
Yeah.
Future.
The future podcast.
Future. The thing with Squidward. Yeah. All right. Take care, ladies and
I hope
gents.
you enjoyed
Have a
this
good
one-off. We'll probably see you in about May or June or something like that.
Yeah, you'll see me in May.
The next one,
Honor.
The next one might be the pre-tournament predictions.
I think that is what it's going
Podcast.
to be because I'm doing it literally the week that I get back. So we're going to have to do that like pronto.
Yeah, so if I'm there, we'll have to see, but if not, he'll probably drag someone else. Maybe he'll just do it in a party full of everyone. And
It'll
get
be
one to do the
either
predictions.
it probably will end up being either Hunter unit or like an Irish or both.
But
Or
until
both.
then,
We'll
guys,
see.
enjoy your
Latest
spring.
skaters.